Okay. Welcome to Certified Vibes. This is the very first, I would say, official podcast. My last one was more of a trailer. Nothing, it wasn't a full-fledged idea or anything. Just kind of an introduction on what we're gonna do here and all that fun stuff, if you will. But yeah, first official podcast. I'm pretty excited. It took me, I don't know how long to do this specific one, not going back to my last kind of trailer, but going to this first one right here. I have such a hard time not trying to, I'm not a perfectionist per se, but I tend to overthink pretty much everything when it comes to projects like this. Professionally, I don't, and it's frustrating. When I'm shooting, I'm a professional photographer, and when I'm shooting with a person or a company or a couple or anything like that, I can make judgments super quick, always on it, so to speak, with my ideas and my input and all that good stuff. But when it comes to stuff like this, podcasting, YouTube videos, anything like that, I just have the worst heckin' time. And I don't necessarily understand what the disconnect is, but there's something that blocks me from doing it in my creative projects just by myself versus, for work. And I don't necessarily understand why, and I don't know how I can fix it, but that's just something I've been trying to work through my entire life, I guess. Let me kind of go over things here. So we're going to use this podcast as an example. So I tried to do this yesterday, and here is where my head went. Here is where my thought process goes. Okay. Step 1, get all the gear. Hold on. Step one. What gear do I want to use? Oh, do I want to use this gear? Do I want to use this camera? Oh, well, I'm doing a video, so I should use this camera. Oh, should I use my big expensive camera? Oh, no. I just really want to keep it with my small camera. I want to keep it lightweight. Okay, we'll use this camera. Good. All right, what audio gear we're going to use? Are we going to use the new mic, the new podcast recorder, or should I just use my big computer setup that I already have? Or, okay, back to step 1. Okay, if we're going to use a small camera, how am I going to that's more or less what happened yesterday when I tried to record said episode. And kind of what happened today, I was getting ready once again to set up. And once again, I'm going to use my small camera. That's right. I'm going to use that small camera. Oh, but should I use the wide lens? Or should I use one of my L lenses? Or maybe I could just use the $80 kit lens that I have for this camera. Oh, do I need to get my podcasting gear? Do I need to use that? Oh, should I use that? That's going to be better audio, isn't it? Oh, but what if I rather blah, 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 blah. And that's where I get stuck doing any little small thing for myself. But if I'm working, if a client comes to me and they go, hey, do you have any ideas for this? Or, oh, so-and-so didn't show up for this. What can we do with what we have and who we have here? I'm on it. No problems, no hesitations. I don't even have to think. And it's not a brag or anything like that. It's just, why can I do that for work? But as soon as I take that kind of that client or doing something for someone else, as soon as they take that away, I just I freeze. And it's annoying. But not necessarily freeze. Okay, so let me reword that. I don't freeze up and just not move or just not continue. I just get stuck and hyper focused on what I would consider inconsequential. Is that the word? Just not super important details. Granted, picking the right camera and blah, 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 blah is a fairly up there detail, but in the grand scheme of things, it really isn't. I could shoot this on my phone if I wanted to. Wouldn't be the worst idea. Wouldn't be that big of a deal. I can use any number of microphones or whatever I wanted to do to record this audio. Wouldn't have made a big deal. It all would have gotten done, and I know that. But I'm still spending 20, 30 minutes shuffling everything around, trying to figure out what I'm going to use, going back on what I'm set on using. all that stuff. And it's so frustrating. And I I personally am trying to work through it, and I just don't quite know how to do that just yet. And when I say that, I mean I've been trying for years and haven't been able to figure out a process to overcome that. So going back, before I started shooting professionally, I kind of had that same roadblock to a certain extent. Uh, Trying to figure out what camera I wanted to get, what lens system I wanted to kind of start investing in, and all that good stuff. That's where some of the roadblocks blocks kind of start creatively. But then as I get used to using things and getting a little bit more knowledge of certain things, that's where I start to get a little bit better. So I started shooting about a decade ago, or I don't even know at this point, a while back, many years. And I did struggle with stuff like how much gear should I bring? Should I bring all this? Well, what happens if someone throws a curveball and I need to have this and I don't have it? Blah blah blah. But as I grew as a professional, as I gained more knowledge and got better at what I did and what I do, uh, stuff like that started to get a little bit easier. Not started to get it got easier. So now I'm at a point to where I can go to a shoot with only one lens, 24 to 105 f4 L lens, and I can pretty much get it done. If there's a curveball, I'm again have no problem kind of adapting and pivoting if I have to. But if I did that for myself, if I went out, okay, well, I'm going to go out to shoot for fun, I'm going to take just the 24 to 105, I would probably just freeze, not freeze. Again, I don't know how to explain that, but I would just start overthinking. Like, oh, well, I should have brought a wide lens, or I should have brought a telephoto lens, and I didn't. And now I can't shoot now because I should have brought that too. Or I should have brought a tripod, or blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I do okay. There's been times when I've gone out to just shoot and I'll take just the GoPro because I already have a clear idea and a clear mind on what I want to do. And that's cool. But a lot of times to get to that point of just taking the one camera or the one lens, it's 30, 40 minutes of me going, oh, well, what if I take this? Or should I take this? Oh, what if I'm going to do this? Or what if it gets dark? And then the process repeats. But once I get over that hurdle, it's usually no problem. Or here's the other thing that kind of bothers me about that. If I go out to shoot with someone, then I don't have those issues. And I don't understand what the flipping heck that means. So let's use that example again of going out to shoot with someone. So here we go. If I'm by myself, I decide, okay, well, I'm gonna take the R6 because I want nice professional looking photos, and I'm gonna take one of my L lenses, and that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take a tripod just in case. Okay, well, no. Do I need the 7300? Do I need to take? Do I need to take it? What if I want to record a video? Should I just take my gimbal too? This is me trying to do it by myself. But someone sends me a message, hey, let's go out to shoot. When do you want to go out? We'll go out next week. Okay. 10 minutes before that. 10 minutes before I have to leave. I'm gonna grab my GoPro, and that's it. GoPro and a small tripod. All right, I'm gone. No problems. But again, doing it myself, if I go out to try to capture something on my own and having to think about things on my own, for some reason, it's not that it's impossible, but holy cow, it's so many hurdles and hoops I have to jump through. So that brings me to things like this, like the podcast. I've wanted to get this thing going for so long. I can't stress enough. Within the past 2 years, it's been a little bit higher on my priority list as far as like being able to have time to research things and figure out how to do things. But for more or less the past 5-6 years, I've been kind of trying to 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, put together a game plan as far as what I would do, what I want to do, what's going to be fun for me. Because at the end of the day, it has to be fun, and it has to keep my attention for me to do something, in quotes, for free, so to speak. Client work, stuff like that. When it comes to work, no problem. Decisions are easy. I can make time to do all the research I need to do. Fun. But when it's stuff like this, especially something I'm not too familiar with or comfortable with, it's a little bit harder. That's when I start to overthink things like, what am I going to get for gear? Can I use the gear I have? Oh, I can. But I got to get new gear. Stuff like that. And trying to put this together, some of the big hurdles I had were: do I want to just use my computer? Do I want to use my USB mics? What kind of setup do I want? Oh, what am I going to interview people? Should I do? I have to interview people. That'd be so fun. Stuff like that. Uh, Having to jump through those hoops and those hurdles in my mind, because I mean, realistically, we could just do this on a phone with my headset, which heck, I see people do it just on their phone with nothing extra. And I am, for lack of a better term, so jealous of that. I wish I could do that. I wish I had the capacity to do that, but my brain just won't let me do it. And I know a lot of people are like that. That's kind of the nice thing about talking to people and seeing people post their experiences online and such, is I get to see, okay, it's not just me. It obviously isn't just me, but at least I have some visual evidence that there's other people that just go through this same kind of complex thought process for no other reason other than to just frazzle their minds, at the word, something like that. But getting back on topic is trying to put this podcast together. I spent so much time kind of researching what gear to get and how to post and how to get everything out there, which was kind of that's the fun part. Researching and kind of looking at things, watching videos, watching like how to's and stuff like that. But the process right before it, not so fun. Not so fun to me. Like trying to get all this stuff kind of organized and put together. For some reason, it's so crazy hard for me. And that goes for everything. We talked about a few minutes ago, but like just trying to get a YouTube video, like a concept going and putting it into motion and then executing the thing, boom, roadblock. I can research, I can purchase, and I know how to operate all this equipment and I know how to make it work. It's just once it comes down to implementing everything, that's where my hiccups come, if you will. Every time, with the exception of work, and it's so frustrating. But at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing. It does kind of push things back on occasion, which gets a little bit frustrating. But it's not the end of the world, so to speak. Sometimes it feels like it is, but ultimately, I guess it's just something I have to work through and kind of fix if I want to kind of get better at things. And that's really what just trial and error and repetition does. I don't know if you have any suggestions or if there's any kind of exercises that you do, whether it's like physical or mental, to help get through kind of creative roadblocks like this. But I am open to them for sure, because I don't know what else I can possibly do other than to try to trick my brain into thinking, no, this is a job. Yeah, this is work, and you have to do your work, because it's annoying. As I'm sure if you experience anything close to this, you can relate to, whether it's, trying to put up a podcast or trying to do something for a client or anything like that. I'm glad I don't have that block with client work, because that would be just super frustrating. But yeah, So I can't really stress enough that even though the roadblocks are there, and sometimes it's difficult to do anything creatively for myself, it's still fun. Like the whole process is still a blast. Like right now, just sitting here, right now, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm staring at the camera. But if you're listening only, I'm staring at the camera, checking out, what the time is. I have my notes up on one screen, and then I have my recording software on another screen. And just the whole process and like doing the thing is just so much fun. As annoying and as frustrating as it is, and as frustrated as I tend to get with the process of like selecting gear and crap like that, it's still totally worth it. So if you're struggling, as I do, and you just don't want to do the next step, just kind of remember that there is that it gets better. It gets better and it gets more fun, and I understand that. I think that might be a little bit of what pushes me past that block of, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what gear to use. I don't know what to do. Knowing that I'm gonna get to this point that I'm at right now, having the funds, if you will. And yeah, I just it's fun. It's fun. It's annoying, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm just glad that I can kind of trick my brain, or eventually just run through the course of the little roadblocks, that stuff like that. So I also want to talk about, it's kind of related. It's not quite as related to the overthinking, overanalyzing kind of issues that I have. Problems, you know what I mean. But it's trying to do everything all at once, all the time, and having that same kind of, also it does, when I think about it, it does kind of tie in to the overanalyzing, overthinking, because here's where we are again. We're doing a podcast right now, like as I speak. We're doing a podcast, but right after this, I have, well, again, I don't have to, but it's just one of those things I have to, and creatively, uh, shoot another YouTube video that I need to try to get edited and uploaded by Sunday. Mainly because I have work booked all weekend, and I need to try to get all of it done as soon as possible, because I'm going to be working for the next 3 or 4 days or so nonstop. But I'm also trying to do several other things, like help someone else with the podcast and gather all the gear and figure out the logistics for doing a remote podcast, so I can just plug not a lot of gear, but enough gear to do a decent interview style podcast, at least the next few episodes, hopefully. Uh, and I still have to, do my work. I still have a bunch of other, my main work that I have to do, and trying to juggle all this stuff just makes no sense why someone would do anything like that. But I guess a lot of people do, and I have to remember that, because sometimes things do get overwhelming, and I feel like I can't do every single little thing that I want to, and I run out of time, which happens a lot. I am getting better at it as a human, but it does get super frustrating not being able to do everything that you want to with the allotted time that you have in a day. That's another kind of small thing that I've been working on and working towards pretty much the past life, and compounding things with like overthinking and overanalyzing can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming, but there's ways to kind of get through that, and to kind of help you get back on track, if you will. One of the things I kind of do, in addition to just doing as many things creatively as I can, is just to kind of fill my time in between with something that either is working towards one of my goals or projects, or just work to begin with. It not so the way that sounds, or the way that may sound, is like I'm overworking, and to a certain extent, I am. But for someone like me, for the more kind of go-getter, like ultra creative kind of, I don't want to say that hustle culture person, because that's not where we're at. We're just at the me anyway. When I say we, I mean me. I'm at that point where I just have so many ideas and so many things I want to do, that I feel all the free space with other things. That way I'm constantly moving and constantly making something, because I feel in my brain that I'm gonna run out of time, and I'm not gonna be able to do everything. And go as deep as you can go as superficial and as deep with that as you want, because it applies to both. but trying to kind of do everything and kind of compartmentalize all my different projects that I want to do is kind of what helps me stay on track. And it does somewhat help me with the little roadblocks of what am I going to use for this? How am I going to do this? Why don't I do this instead of this? Why don't I use that instead of that? So on and so forth. List. So I keep pretty much most of my daily stuffs, if you will, like a to-do list on my phone, my notes app. I also have compartmentalized lists for other things and other projects. Basically, the thing I started to do this year was list everything because I forget. And not necessarily like, oh, I wasn't paying enough attention or I just don't have the time to retain that. It's just trying to keep track of every single little thing. It gets annoying and cumbersome sometimes for me. Hence the list, if you will. So many lists. But keeping like a daily list, just like a list of, hey, eat something, drink something, do this work, work on this project, stuff like that has helped me immensely this year. And it's stupid that it took me that long to figure that out, but it's helped a ton. It's the partial reason why this podcast is even up is because of doing that this year. I had that on my list, like, hey, don't forget to look up how to publish a podcast. So don't forget to look up what mics would be good that aren't $600 and stuff like that. And yeah, that's just kind of so something that helps me and something that kind of has helped me get through some of the creative blocks that I get sometimes, like the overthinking. Overthinking is just a big issue for me. Even though if you've ever, for someone meeting me for the first time, probably that's not going to be something that sticks out. But it is something that I struggle with internally a ton. And well, I guess externally now, since I'm talking about it in some detail. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's what today's episode is about. I'm trying to hammer down a better schedule for things because right now this is technically a week behind. A week behind where I want it. I wanted to get this up last week. And in my mind, it was, okay, well, I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to talk for X amount of minutes. And it's going to be so easy. And the talking part's fine. This is fine. I'm talking to you right now. That's fine. No problems. But the setup and the hitting record part, not so easy. So that's what I want to try to figure out with the next episode as far as getting a routine going, because I need to do this more often because it's fun. I'm having a blast right now as I'm talking, but my goodness, that the hours before this moment right now were so frustrating, especially yesterday. Oh my God, I can't explain how frustrating it was. But it was. Oh, okay. So not even that. Let's compound that situation yesterday with, we had a horrible storm blow through, like sirens going off. Like we were in the hallway kind of closet area because, there was a tornado warning in our direct area, which doesn't happen that often, but holy cow. So right before all that, that was me setting up my gear, getting my camera set up, getting all the equipment set up, trying to figure out if I'm going to use XLR mic or USB mic, or if I'm going to record to my PodTrack or Ableton, blah. But then we get that. And so we're stuck doing that for a few hours because, we didn't want to get blown away in a tornado because that would suck. And we had to keep all the animals here safe and all that fun stuff. So the thought process was, okay, we'll get through this. It'll be fine, hopefully. Everything passed just fine. We luckily for us, we had no real issues. We had some branches down and stuff in the neighborhood, but no loss of power, any of that stuff. My thought was, okay, well, podcasting is so gosh darn easy. I'll just set up all my stuff as soon as we're done and just sit down and talk for X amount of minutes. But that didn't happen because we got up. I came back into this room. looked at the stuff and just in my head just went, yeah, I don't want to do this right now. I don't know. I don't know if I want to use that equipment. I don't know if I want to set up my computer and do all that stuff. But here we are. Here we are today. Here we are. I got it all done. Look, we're up. We're live. We're talking. We're having fun. Not to say that I didn't do the same exact thing an hour before I hit record. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's what we're gonna call it good for right now. Because I could go on and on and on about just my problems. I don't know about you. But yeah, did you have any issues like I do, as far as like getting things going? They're kind of like commitment issues, if you will. Just they're gear commitment issues and process commitment issues. Do you have anything like that? I want to know. And what do you do to kind of remedy those things? Do you do anything that helps? Does anything help you per se? Like I don't know, is there a drink or something like a CBD drink? You got one of those? Does that work for you? I might need to try that. Yeah. As far as next episode goes, I have no clue because we're just winging it, man. I don't know what else to say other than check back next week. I will have a new episode up. I freaking promise, because we're gonna make this happen. It's a lot of fun. I like all this stuff. We may not go this deep into mental blocks and stuff. We're probably gonna talk about gear next time, to be honest. It'll be fun. Okay, for now, I gotta go. I hope you join me next week. And yeah, that's it really. That's it. Make sure to, if you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. If you're everywhere else, go ahead and follow. Rate this if you want. That'd be cool. Yeah. I'm gonna go. Goodbye.